Hello!
Hi guys.
Welcome back to our channel. We're really happy to have you here today. We're gonna do another session of Q&A, and today the question is for Jazz and is from Tyler Panu. I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly. So Tyler Jazz wants to know, if your sister married a black guy, would you have been okay?
Okay. So that's a good question.
Yeah.
I actually answered that question on a program that we did with George Alagaya, which used to do with Mixed Race Britain. Remember?
Yeah, it was BBC. BBC Mixed Britannia.
Mixed Britannia, yeah, that was it, and it was about mixed people from in the UK from like the early 1900s, leading up to us being like the latest.
Yeah.
Kind of different mixed couple.
Exactly.
So obviously Indian and black don't usually mix, as you know.
Yeah.
So in that one, they actually asked me what I would do if my sister, and I was caught on my feet. I had time to think.
Yes.
And when I said that, I think my answer was quite honest still.
Yeah.
I did turn around and say that if my sister got with a black guy, and say I never met Primrose, me and Primrose never happened, let's say that, and she came to me and told me the same thing as what I told her, I think my reaction would have been of a bit of shock, maybe not as receptive as what my sister's was, but the answer I'm going to give you is guesswork, because
it's difficult to
at the end
say.
of the day, I'm close with my family, and I've never wanted that a decision by my mum or dad would be forced upon myself or my brother or my sister. So I think I would have always, and I've always been the one that always got involved and made sure no one was making anyone in the family do something they didn't want to do.
Yeah.
So I'd stand up for them. So
you're the peacemaker in the
that's
family.
it. Yeah, like the glue a little bit, I'd say. So with that question, I would say I would have been shocked. If I think of it in that aspect, I think I would have been shocked. I would have been scared for her, because I would have thought, can she handle this? Is she strong enough? And I even had a friend say that to me, because they were scared. One of my friends said, I'm not sure if you can handle the politics that's going to come with this.
Yeah, that's you.
But obviously he's a friend, so you get,
isn't it?
Yeah, and because he's a friend, you get more support with friends, obviously. With my sister, I think I would have been scared, because my worry would have been, is this guy going to play her? Because the Indian way of thinking, or my way of thinking at that point, just like probably, like I said, 90% of the Asian culture would have been, and I'm not saying it's acceptable, I'm just saying this is how they would have thought, but they would have thought black men don't really stay with Asian girls, or any girl for that matter, that long. They like to play around, but like I said, that probably goes for Indian boys as well now. But stereotypically, like from, let's say, from a Jamaican Caribbean background, without being disrespectful, or African background, they're thinking, wait a minute, this person might not be faithful, he might not stay with her long, but then they might think like that about anyone, whether you're a Caucasian person from the Western community or an African, because you're not Indian mentality. They think that you're going to make your wedding or your marriage work better, or your relationship work better if you're from an Asian background, which it makes no sense at all anyway. But they would be like, I would think, is this person going to stay with her? After 2-3 years, when he's bored, he might break up with her. She might end up with a kid.
And do you think that viewpoint is from the media? Where does that viewpoint come from?
That's the Asian viewpoint. That's the Asian viewpoint. That's probably a viewpoint from a lot of cultures that obviously have that stereotypical view of black people, black African people. But so I would have thought, okay, is she going to be able to handle it if this guy breaks up with her? Maybe all this stuff would have probably gone through my head, and she's going to have a mixed race child or children. No one may accept her again within the Asian culture. But remember, at that point, I'm thinking, I'm telling you from the viewpoint of Primrose not being in my life, and my fear of her being alone for the rest of her life, because of maybe she might then consider that she made an error. And I think when you make a decision, you need to make sure that it's definitely, you can live with it. Like, you can live with it, whether it goes bad or if it's good. So I would have probably had that fear. I would have been worried that my mum and dad might have just completely disowned her, because in the Asian culture, I think Indian parents are a lot more harsher on their daughters than they are on their sons. So the sons could probably get away with a lot more, whereas with the daughter, they might say, wait a minute, because they consider the daughter the respect of the family, and they would maybe consider that if she's with a black person or of African heritage, then maybe people might think, wait a minute, this girl is maybe like a disrespectful sort of girl, like, because people thought that of me. I'm sure of it. They probably thought, wow, like, we thought he was a good boy.
Yeah,
that's the first mentality that will get. First thing, he must be bad, like, because he's dating a black girl, and God knows how many other girls from other cultures he's probably been with, and he must be a bad boy. You know what I mean? Like, because he's not with an Indian girl. That would have been the mentality as well. So I would have been worried that my mum and dad might just disown her. And but yeah, from my viewpoint, I would have turned around and just been like, wait a minute, like, can you handle this? And I probably would have been really angry, in all honesty, because I would have thought, wait a minute, you're embarrassing us. And that's, I know it's not nice to say it, but at that point in my life, I would have thought like that probably. And I would say, going through what I've been through, I'm not as narrow-minded as what I was brought up to be like, and what a lot of Asian boys are brought up to be like. It's like brainwashing, but every culture has that form of brainwash in some manner. But for us, because being culturally deep-rooted in your family, that's what's drilled into you from day dot. So from day one, that's what you believe. So yeah, I would have been like, oh my God, like, can you handle this? And if this guy breaks up with you, you're gonna have no respect left. And I would have thought, mum and dad, you're embarrassing us. Just like my mum felt at that point that this could be embarrassing, because people are gonna turn around and say, wait a minute, your son did this. So I think my sister's done this. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I would have had all these things. So I think I would have found it really hard. And I'm not saying I wouldn't have accepted it, but I think the way I am, I would have had all those fears initially, but then I would have probably said to her, look, can I meet this guy? Because I want to know who she's seeing, because I do trust my sister, so I still had that within me. But again, this is all guesswork, but I would have probably said, look, let me meet this guy. If he's a nice guy, then I can quiz him. I can ask him all these questions.
You need to grill him and ask,
bro, are you playing my sister? Are you gonna, like...
Because this is gonna be hard. Are you gonna be in it for the...
Yeah, like, do you realise, like, she's putting all her reputation... All the stuff I thought about when I dated Primrose, I would have chucked all on the line to that person.
And I think for you as well, it's because you know of girls that have been disowned and they've been completely alone.
I've
20 years, 30 years later, they're still completely disowned by the family.
And they haven't even married, not necessarily a black person. It could have been a Caucasian, white person. And we had someone at work, and he seems like a really nice guy. He's a white English guy, and he married a Sikh girl, and he goes, the dad has nothing to do with him and wants absolutely nothing to do with him, and it's been years, and he just doesn't care. And it's not changed. There's not just black African people that can get that, but obviously majority of the times, most of the resistance will be against that because of the inbuilt sort of stereotypes that we grow up with. And I think it would have been really difficult to.
And then now, after, let's say if she she wants to marry a black guy after we were together, what would you?
I'll be a lot more liberal about it. I'll be like, whatever makes you happy now. I'll say, without having too many of those fears, because I'll be like, wait a minute, you're an adult. I've been through it. And because I've experienced every facet of every emotion, I'd probably say to her, look, just let's meet up. Let's meet up. Let's see who this guy is. Do what makes you happy. Because at the end of the day, there's no guarantee with any marriage. So, but I would have probably found it really hard. But I would have probably helped her because I've always been like the glue in the family. So I think I would have tried my best. But my fear would have been what my mum and dad would have probably reacted like at the time, which probably would have been worse. But again, that's guesswork, because I actually thought my dad wasn't going to be on my side, and he was. So it's all guesswork, but that's the best I can answer that. Stereotypically, I think that's the fears that would have gone through my head, and then I would have...
And I think for me, speaking to like different Asian people, especially from work, and being able to ask the same questions, because before I dated Jazz, I never knew that there was this like conflict or racism that goes on from Indian people against black people. I never knew about it. I was not aware of it. And once we got together, I had Asian people warning me that, this is gonna be really hard, his family's not gonna accept you. And I was like, really? But we're almost the same color, what's the problem? And then I was able to ask the same question, like, well, what's the problem? And I think most people's point of view was like, because of the stuff that's on TV, like black people are always portrayed as being bad, as having like kids with 20 different people, they're drug dealers, they're all this negative stuff. And because people are watching these things on TV and they don't, maybe might not associate with black people, they just take what's on TV as gospel.
And because historically the history is really bad for African people, and it's not out of their own choice. And like I said, it's horrendous. And I think because everyone is always looked at it like, and it's sad to say that black people were always treated like the lowest. And that wasn't fair, because obviously we're talking about like tribal kings and like everyone in their own colour and race and culture. There's people of status, and obviously we talk about the first remains were in Ethiopia, like everyone has probably come from there, but people are uneducated, they don't have any education, and it's an uneducated way of thinking, and this is what creates this discrimination. And the thing is, you can't blame the young kids, because young kids are learning from their elders.
Of course,
do you know what I mean? We've always been brought up with that mentality, so it's not their fault either.
No.
Because all they've ever known is one culture.
Exactly.
They've come into the UK, and it's a multicultural society, and they've got these fears now. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. And I think like part of us now, both of us coming on YouTube, is to actually show, because I know we were looking when we got together, weren't we? We were looking on YouTube, we were looking online to see of other people who were the same as us. We wanted to see their struggle, we wanted to know their stories, and there was really nothing out there. And that's why I think like now we're here trying to tell the story, and also to show the positive side of an interracial marriage, the positive side of being a black woman and saying, you know, there's nothing wrong with black people. I don't have, I don't know, 10 different kids with, you know, different guys and stuff like that. I'm not
going to dump you, and I'm not going to beat you up because I'm physically, because that's what they'll think about an African black woman, that she's going to be a bit heavy-handed, she's strong, so she'll slap you up, she'll shout at you, she won't care about what other people think. And it's
I get that a lot,
like
how they, you know, black people are aggressive or black women are aggressive, and there's all this negative stuff. And I think like coming on here and sharing our family and sharing our relationship and just showing people that, you know, black people are absolutely normal. And
I mean, if anyone's interested in watching, there's a film called East is East. You need to watch that film. It's about basically Indian family in the UK, and in one part of it, right at the end, the Indian girl is dating a black guy, and the mother one of the aunties or something, they see him and they go, oh my god, she's dating a black guy. And I was about 12 or 13 probably when that came out, and I'm 33 now. I know I look younger.
And he's 25.
I should have lied about my age. But anyway, and when we saw that, I remember when I was young, I was like, oh my god, that's embarrassing. Because that's the way you're brought up, and even the movies that were doing it. And this is not even a Bollywood movie. This is a British movie. And maybe they were trying to break boundaries and actually say to people, look, you can date.
Exactly.
I don't know. But at that point, when I was that age, I was thinking, oh my god, this is embarrassing. Indian girl with a guy that's not like, oh my god. But I was 12 or 13, I knew no better.
But it already goes to show how ingrained it was in you already.
But when I was probably like even 16, 17, I used to be like, no, I'm gonna marry a girl that's a virgin. Look at that. How many? You know what I mean? But I was so like, and a lot of us were. A lot of the guys that I knew, we used to be like, nah, the girl, I'm gonna marry my mum once, and she's gonna be a virgin. And literally within that, say from the age of 16 thinking like that, by the time you're 19 you don't think anything like it, because you realise, wait a minute, because you've seen so much after that, going out and hitting parties and meeting people, you think, wait a minute, that's just stupid,
not life.
That's never happened, that's not realistic.
But and I think us as a black community, we need to start showing more positive images of ourselves. I think we need to take responsibility as well, because there's free, you know, mediums out there that you can use, like YouTube. There's so many free things that you can use now that you don't have to rely on TV to educate people of that black people are just like any other culture, there is good, there is bad, and it's not always bad. So I think, yeah, we definitely need to take that upon ourselves, because
but it does apply both ways, because there's a lot of African black people that will turn around and say you're Ghanaian and someone's Nigerian, they say we're having nothing to do with them.
Exactly.
You're not marrying say a Nigerian, or a Nigerian say you're not marrying a South African. We're not having that. So at the end of the day, people need to just change their mentality and start loving each other, respecting each other.
That's it.
And realising that we're all one.
Yeah.
And just show people respect. And you might find that you're going to learn a lot and you're going to become a better person. Because I've become a better person off the back of it.
That's it, yeah. And I think it's important to like break boundaries, and that's how like the human race and like the experiences that our kids are going to have are going to be so much different, because we've broken the boundary and we're showing people that it's normal, we're happy, you know, there's no like negativity going on. And our kids, if they want to marry someone else, or other Sikh kids, or you know, like different cultures, if they want to marry different people, it's going to get easier and easier. And I think it's important to definitely be strong enough to go and break down boundaries, because that's how things change, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah. So I think Tyler, I think we have elaborated on your question as much as we can, as honestly as just can, because sometimes it's difficult
because you're working on hard. You're working on and I'm trying to be as honest. I'm basically saying what other people are thinking.
Yeah.
That's just how I am. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I just say what I think.
Exactly.
And if I offend anyone, I'd obviously apologise in advance, because that's not what my intentions are.
That's it.
And I don't agree with any of the stereotypical bad things. I'm just letting you know what people, not everyone, but the majority are thinking from our culture.
Yeah.
And it's just because there's fears there, and you just have to like accept that. And if you work hard together as a couple, you don't need these people to support you. They'll come round eventually.
Exactly.
And it doesn't really matter what anyone else thinks.
I think
about
you
anything
just
that you do with your life, as long as you do it with respect, innit?
You go and be happy and show people that, look, we are happy and we are making our marriage
just
work.
Get on with your life,
And you know, your opinions don't count, to be honest.
You're self-sufficient.
Exactly.
You come in this world by yourself. You're gonna live by yourself.
And that's how we've started like changing people's opinions, by just people can see that we're a happy family, and the fears and, you know, the oh my god, she's gonna leave you because this is just a phase you're going through, and all this negative stuff that people used to say before. We've been together for 9 years now, and I think like if it was a phase, or if I was
gone by now.
if I was the violent black woman, whatever it is,
I'd be on the Sun
page
saying my wife beats me up.
Exactly. But here we are, you know, just like trying just trying.
This is a cry for help.
I'll beat you up after.
Okay. If you see me with a black eye, then he's really
So if you again have any questions that you want to ask, I know, like, you know, appreciate that sometimes it's difficult for us to be put on the spot as well, and for us to come here and give the honest opinions, because a lot of people are not going to like it. But the truth, sometimes people can't handle the truth, but we're here to tell the truth as it is. We're not saying it's right or wrong. We're just saying that this is the truth, and you know, we're not
scripting anything.
No, it is.
It's just basically freelance.
We sit here
off
and
the
talk
cuff.
from
I'm
the
just
heart.
speaking to you. So if you ask me a question, this is how I'll answer if you meet me.
And be prepared to hear
and then
stuff
if you've got any more questions and you want me to elaborate, I don't mind doing it.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So again, thank you so much for your question, Tyler. And again, if you've got any questions, just pop them in the comments section below. And remember to share our videos on other platforms like Facebook or any other social media.
Twitter,
just because there's other people out there who are looking for answers, and the more we can help each other, the more, you know, the more boundaries we're broken, the more we can show.
It doesn't have to be a mixed relationship. Anything.
Exactly.
People don't like couples for various reasons. It doesn't have to be colour or race. So maybe what we've been through might help someone.
Exactly. So so we'd really appreciate it if you can share our videos, and we will see you in the next video. And that's it.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Check you out, son. Wow. Look at him. You look very nice, son. Where's your sister?
in the house.
Your sister's in the house.
Yeah,
I like your glasses.
yeah. I do love my glasses.
I love your glasses. Let's see.
Oh. It doesn't fit.
It does fit.
It's fit.
Nice.
It's called fit.
You need